Hello, everyone, and welcome back on the My Open Source Experience podcast. I'm very excited about today's topic because I'm talking to someone who is a maintainer in the open source ecosystem. However, he is not a code developer. And there is this kind of silent myth and association between contributor and software developers, even though it is not equal. And I always love to have people on the podcast to help everyone understand what other things people can and what other things needed to be done in the open source ecosystem that are not code. So today I have Ariel Jolo with us today. And before we dive into all these things, Arya, can you please tell a little bit about yourself to the audience? What is your background in the tech industry and what do you do currently?
First of all, thank you for the invitation. I'm a sysadmin by trade. I started working as a sysadmin like 20 plus years ago, but nowadays and for the last 10 years or so, you could say I'm a conference organizer and community organizer, leader, something like that. So that's what I do most of my time today.
Do you remember when you first learned about open source?
Yeah, I didn't know it was open source, but I started kind of as a like Linux enthusiast or user when I was like 13, 14, like back in high school. And at the time, I didn't really know or appreciate what open source was. I just started like running Linux, and then I got to learn like, the whole philosophy and the whole thing behind it. But yeah, it was like 25 years ago now.
I think even your nickname or one of them was Linux in high school. Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, I got bullied because like I went to like this high school and they had like everything was we are talking about like early 2000s, so like late 1990s. So everything was like Microsoft oriented, like all the machines ran with Windows, of course, like Windows 98 we are talking about. And I was like this weird kid saying, no, I cannot run that because I'm running Linux. So a few of them called me Linux for some time. And since I was using Linux, they called me Holox with the final X. But yeah, this was like, again, 25 years ago.
So it wasn't about your like enthusiasm or and expertise and knowledge about Linux. It was just the fact that you were a little bit of an odd one out because you used something completely different than everybody else.
Again, we are talking about like kids, like very much like first year of high school. I didn't really know what I was doing, like running Linux. Like for the first year that I run Linux, like my first installation, I didn't have like video like on my display. It was black and white. I couldn't move my mouse around. I didn't have internet. So I was like that kind of a Linux user at first until I got to a more like robust distribution. And then yes, I when I did learn a little bit, and after breaking a lot of time my own like machine, like the only machine that we had at home, and I deleted files from my whole family. I made the machine like unusable for days at a time. When I did learn a little bit more, I did try to install it, and I got to install it to quite a few friends that they also wanted to know a little bit more, and they were like hearing about like this Linux thing, but it was like very off. Like nobody was using that, at least here, or nobody that I knew, at least.
So you kind of started a little bit with this community building even when you were kids, like with your family and friends and
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know what I was doing, but yeah, I was like gathering people around and going to my friends' houses with Linux CDs at the time and installing it for their like to ruin their own like homes, like computers, for, like, to mess with their family's computer pretty much. But yeah, and there were like some like there was a community here in Buenos Aires. I'm from Argentina, so I live in Buenos Aires, and there was a community. I was part of like Install Fest, so people grab their machines, like real like big machines, and move them around the city with their keyboards and their mouses and maybe like even their monitors. and they went places to install Linux on those machines. That's still a thing. There are some like conferences or events that do that still, but nowadays it's mostly laptops, so it's easier. Back then you have to pack the whole thing and get on the bus or get on the subway or on the train with your whole like PC setup.
I think back in my day, it was more for gaming, like this
Like LAN
LAN
parties.
party. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't much of a gamer, so I never actually did that. But I did go to. I didn't bring my own like computer, but I did go and like with like a pen and a paper and like write things and learn commands and learn things how like watching people like doing stuff. Or, oh, this is how we install things, or this is how you get your display to use colors or whatever.
Was that still throughout high school?
Yeah, like I'm talking about like 14, 15. I was like 14, 15 years old.